Hello and welcome to the Truth Booth, and welcome to Ask Me Tuesdays, where I'm going to draw out of this little pot right here a question that you have written in and want me to answer kind of on the spur of the moment. So we'll see what comes out of the pot. What is your favorite Bible verse and why? Okay, what is my favorite Bible verse and why? Well, anybody who knows me well knows that I really don't like getting asked the favorite questions. What is your favorite color? Who's your favorite actor? What is your favorite movie? What is your favorite book? Because I can never think of what it is. And so those kind of questions aren't really my forte. But I will say I may not have a favorite Bible verse because it's whatever I'm jumping into ends up being my favorite at the time. But there is a life verse that I have. So I don't know if this is my favorite verse, but it is my goal to live verse and my life verse. And it is taken from Philippians chapter 2, verse 3. And it says, "Do nothing from selfishness or empty conceit, but with humility of mind, regard one another as better than yourselves." That verse is a verse that I think about all the time. I have contemplated on, and I hope to mold my life around that verse because I want you to think about that verse for a minute. It's a great verse. To me, if I could get this verse down in my life, I would feel like I'm just getting so much of the Bible down into my heart. So do nothing from selfishness, living my life not taking any action or engaging in anything out of selfish motives or vanity or empty conceitedness is something that I am constantly working toward, because you know that in this life pretty much everything kind of revolves around me, around us, right? Which is completely contrary to what the Bible calls us to. So I love that first part. It's just such a directive. Don't do anything from selfishness or empty conceit. Don't do anything that is rooted in me, right? But with humility of mind. Another thing I strive for constantly is humility. We can't have humility and live any of the first part of that verse, correct? We can't be walking in humility and also be watching out for number one, me. So it's just such a great, strong directive. And regard one another as more important than yourselves. And I believe that just in our day and time and our culture, we're just fed the opposite of that so much that we're to watch out for number one. We're to think about me first. We're to protect ourselves. We are to love ourselves first. Okay, well, we have to be really careful when we talk about that, because that can be so contrary to what the gospel says to us. The gospel says things like this. The gospel says, lay your life down. The gospel says, live your life as a sacrifice, holy and pure, acceptable to God. The gospel says to live as Christ lived, who gave his all. That's what the gospel says. So to me, this verse kind of encapsulates all of that and is a constant reminder to me to put away my selfishness, to put away my vanity, to put away my empty conceit, because it is empty. And not only that, but to regard those around me as better than myself. I want you to think about that a little bit. If you were to regard those around you as better than yourself, ladies, that cuts to the quick of our comparing game. You know, the game has to go away. It has to evaporate, because we're not entering our relationships with that kind of mentality. So I would say that from Philippians 2, chapter 2, verse 3, to me, that is in a way my favorite verse, because it's my life verse, and I am constantly working toward and asking for the grace of God to live out this verse moment by moment, day by day, continually as I mature and get older. What does this look like? So I hope that answers your question. That would be my favorite life verse because I feel like it encapsulates so much of what the Word asks of us and requires of us. And it is definitely what I'm working toward every day of my life. So thanks for asking, and we'll see you next time. So don't forget, if you're liking anything you hear that you share it, and also that you hit that subscribe button and then ding the bell so that you will get notified every time that I put up a new video. That's gonna make me happy. Bye-bye. See you next time.